No, I had to do it one time. That was whack. That was whack. That was whack. That was whack. I'm Toby, and we're here with Broadcast Houston. Holla at me.
All right, now, before we get started, as you post your photos from the summit on your social media accounts, use the hashtag #SmartenUp. The hashtag is what? SmartenUp. And it's spelled smart, the letter N, then up. SmartNup. Smarten up simply means make better decisions. Anybody in here learn anything today that could possibly help them make better decisions? Raise your hand if you did. All right, that means our job has been done well. Give yourselves a round of applause. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw a question out there, all right? And we're working with one mic, so be careful, be patient. And we're gonna have our panelists answer the question. But if any one of you has or gets the spirit to either one, ask a question or make a comment, we want to hear from the community as well. Is that okay with y'all? Yeah. Is it all right? All right. Good deal. Okay, so you've already met this good brother, Brother Arthur Silky Slim Reed. How many of you saw his presentation? Yeah, if you enjoyed his presentation, you can clap. I'll clap too. To his left is the Southwest Regional Representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Brother Abdul Haleem Muhammad. Give him a round of applause. The man's a wealth of wisdom. He's like a walking laptop. So if you have any questions, any concerns, anything you want to know, ask that brother right there. I guarantee you, if he don't have the answer, he'll find the answer. To his left is my dear good brother, Brother Ash. How many of you like cars? Raise your hand. Yeah. Right. How many of you like customized cars? With big wheels, nice rims. But it's okay. Raise your hand if you like cars. Well, Brother Ash is the owner of 713 Motors. 713 Motors has been voted as one of the top 20 car customization shops in the United States of America, and it's the only one in that top 20 that's black owned. Yeah, let's give him a round of applause for that. Right here from the city of Houston. So he knows a lot, not just about cars, but he knows a lot about building businesses, and we're honored to have him here. And also, he's one of our sponsors for here, so for today's Black Male Summit, so he helped to make this happen. Yeah, give him a round of applause. Give it up. I make big money.
Big cars.
He's probably best known as the rap artist Willie D from the multi-platinum group Ghetto Boys. But to me, he's much more than that. He's one of our most profound critical thinkers right now. If you don't follow his YouTube channel, you need to do so. Give it up for my brother Willie D. That's my big brother right there. You already know who this man is, because he was in that getting on your butt about getting your money together. He say, what did he say? What sense does it make to go get a bag if you just gonna blow a bag? This man right here will teach you how to keep a bag. Give it up for Brother Khalees Rashad. And Pastor Jamel Johnson. What can I say about him? He said it all pretty much. Were you inspired by his workshop? If you were, give him a round of applause. All right, first question. They just came out with a study, I mentioned it earlier, that by the year 2053, the median income for Black America is going to be $0. That means if you average out the annual income of all black families, it's going to end up at $0. My question is, with the advent of what they call artificial intelligence, anybody know what artificial intelligence is? Raise your hand. What does that mean, young man? Come here. You can bring your chips with you. Don't worry about it.
Artificial intelligence is like machines, basically, and like they kind of help us, and we made artificial intelligence. It helps us like look on the internet, like our tablets, our phones, and stuff, and that's basically artificial intelligence. That's right.
Give him a round of applause. Yeah, we producing thinkers here. How many of you remember when you used to go to the grocery store and an actual person checked you out as a cashier? Who remembers those days, all right? Right. Nowadays, they have this thing that's called a what? Self-checkout. That means that the machine adds it up for you. All right? So, the more self-checkouts, the more machines they start to put into these businesses, the less jobs are going to be available. So if we're teaching our children, go to school, get a degree, so you can get a job, but at the same time, they are putting robots in the jobs that we're telling our children to get. My question is, how important is entrepreneurship and teaching our children to create a job versus get a job? We're going to start with you, Brother Ash.
Well, I think the answer to that question is I think we need to unlearn a lot of the stuff that they taught us previously. I can use my own self for example. When I was you guys' age, I was taught to go to college, play ball, get a job, to work for someone else. But I was never taught to learn a hobby, turn your hobby into something that pays you, and to make a business out of that hobby, and to create jobs for other people. I never was taught that. I learned that on my own. So I think to answer your question, and we have to unlearn what society has taught us in the past in regards to entrepreneurship. With that being said, it's a lot of jobs, like Brother Deric and I was talking about this via telephone. It's a lot of trade jobs that we don't take advantage of, and we let other people fulfill those positions. I always like to use myself as an example because I can give the best example through what I do on a daily basis. And within my own shop, I have a painter, I have a body man, I have a welder, I have an electrician, and none of those guys are black. So the people who I pay, who work for me at those skilled positions, trade positions, guys who never went to college, guys who speak English as a second language, guys who maybe even be illegal immigrants. A lot of those people are helping me produce the things that you see today, and it's not because that they're overqualified, it's because that they are willing to work in labor. You know, I have a painter, and I pay him on a per car basis, and he's mastered the art of finishing his task in half the time, so he's able to do a lot more tasks. So at the end of the week, he's taking home a lot of money. And so, you know, this is a skill, a trade that he learned. It's a labor trade. And I think, you know, to answer the question, we need to instill in our community that there is a lot of work in trade work. Because if you can become skilled at one specific trade, you can take that trade and make a business out of the one trade. That way you can be able to employ other people and put the dollars back into your community that way. So basically, to answer your question, I think we need to unlearn what society has taught us in the past.
Hey, first of all, y'all give it up for Brother Deric and everybody that helped to put this on. Secondly, give it up for yourself, parents especially, for bringing the parents, the guardians, grandparents. Give it up for yourself. This is beautiful. I walked in here, man, and I saw all of these youthful faces, and I was like, man, this is beautiful because you guys really are the future. And so for me, it's a privilege, it's an honor to be talking to you right now, to be just, to have you guys listening to what I have to say, because I was really you at one point. And so it's a beautiful thing. Now, I want to address something that is a misconception, that since we're talking about entrepreneurship, a lot of people like to say, well, everybody can't be bosses. I don't believe that. And here's why. I study other races of people. And I don't just study white folks. I don't just study Latinos. I study Asians also. Every Asian I know has some type of business, even if they're working for somebody else. Even if they go to school, they have some type of business so that they can earn an income. And whether that business is the business that they want to have long term, or whether it's something that they're just doing to get by until they get to where they're really trying to go, they have some business, some part of a business. How many times do you go into these nail shops and you see 20 Asian people working in that nail shop? Each one of those people owns some portion of that business. And then when they stack their paper, they move around to something else bigger, and then somebody else comes in and takes their place. Or at some point, all of them leave, that shop shuts down, and then it reopens under another name, and you got a whole new flock of Asian people running the business. So it is quite possible for everybody to be an entrepreneur. You ain't got to start off with $1 million or $100,000 or even $10,000. You could be an entrepreneur with $20. You got to start somewhere. And when I say $20, how you do that? Man, go over to Walmart, Sam's or something, get you some bottles of water. And, those waters, I think, average about 8 cents a piece, sell them for $1. Bam, there you go. You see? And then you reinvest. So we got to really start thinking entrepreneur, because let me tell you something, and it's sad that I got to say this, but I just think that people need to know the truth. And I think if you get the truth, then you can operate better in this type of society that we live in. These people hate us, man. All right? Straight up. They hate us. So we don't have time to be bickering amongst each other. We don't have time to be engaging in this so-called gender war between black males and black females. It's us against everybody. So why it don't make a sense for us to be against each other also? We got it hard enough. They hate us. So it's incumbent upon us to unite. Hey, look, we tried everything else. When we did unite, we was at our best. We was at our strongest. So if we look at what happened when we were our most successful, then if we go back to that, then we can get what we want. We gotta stop this division thing that's going on. So if we want to excel in business, we gotta stop thinking, or even just life and being able to have a quality life. We gotta stop thinking, teaching our kids to go to school, get a good education, go get a job, because these people don't want to give us jobs. Okay? So why would you, it's an old saying, if they won't treat you right, they won't teach you right. So why would you set your kid up for failure? Send them to the school to where people hate them already. They just there to get a check. and then you go get this education that they indoctrinate you to, where they teach your kids to be inferior to other people anyway, and then you expect them to go get a degree and go beg their oppressor for a job. Why would your oppressor give you a job? Give you anything to help you? Give you anything to assist you? It don't make sense. So we as the adults, as the caretakers, as the defenders of our family, the providers of our family, we got to set our kids up for success and not failure. And one of the greatest ways to set them up for success is for us to take the initiative. And if we're not going to start our own business to whereas we can hire our kids and have them work in the family business, at least set them up to where they can be an entrepreneur and own their own and not go begging their oppressor to assist them.
As I stated earlier, I'm a CPA. I have an accounting practice here in Houston, and I've been doing that 11 years. Prior to that, I was several years in corporate America. And the reason why I say that is I just want to tell a quick story. Two people, both were above me when I was in corporate America, a level above me. And in some ways prevented me from moving up in terms of money, position, and all of that. One person I see now, they've been laid off. The other, we have lunch occasionally. I make more than both of them put together when they were in corporate America. Within 3 years, I basically doubled my income as when I was in corporate America. Entrepreneurship is a mindset more than anything else. So for me, like it's tax season for me. Right? This is kind of like my Super Bowl. I've been working 7 days a week for the last 3 months, right? But these are the sacrifices that you have to do. It's seasonal, but these are sacrifices that you have to make. Right. And so I'd rather do this than to go back into corporate America or and be made to feel like less than myself. And so when I went on my own, I would say my masculinity went up. My authority, my chest, I walked taller, and all of that when I went out and I started making my own destiny. And that's
Come on, give him a round of applause. Listen, we don't have a lot of time, but I want to drive home this point about the importance of doing what Brother Ash said. Finding a trade, something you love to do, and turn that into a business. You remember when I did the illustration of the two boys running back and forth? Who saw that? Raise your hand. You were in here? All right. Now, remember when I gave the $5 to the young man who I said was the white man? He went and sat down. And remember I gave the $1 who's the black man to make the point that we got to work twice as hard to get half as much. Do y'all remember the illustration I gave? Y'all remember, right? Well, the young man that I gave the $1 to, if he would have just took that $1 and went home and sat down, that's an employee. But what did he do? He kept running. And every time he ran and touched that man's hand and came back, I gave him another $1. That is the mindset of an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship takes sacrifice. Say it with me. Sacrifice. As a people, sometimes we don't like to sacrifice because we confuse sacrifice with suffering. See, we suffered for 400 years. So anything look like hard work, we don't want no parts of that. The man said he works 7 days a week. That's sacrifice, but guess what? He's a free man working 7 days a week. That's the difference. So there's a difference between suffering and sacrifice. When you work for somebody else, you suffering. But when you work for yourself, you your own boss, and you can determine your own destiny, it's going to take sacrifice, but the sacrifice is worth it. That's all I wanted to say. Now, this man has a radio show about entrepreneurship. I'm anxious to see what he has to say.
Everybody that's in here, you all came to my sessions, and I asked everybody to pull their cell phone out, right? Everybody, mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, and children, lift your phones up. I was flying back coming from Chicago, and I sat between two men. One man was next to me. All three of us had iPhones. I was working on my sermon in my iPhone. The man to the right of me was playing a video game. The man to the left of me was processing payroll.
Come on, man. My God.
Everybody has access. As long as you have this cell phone in your hand, do something with it. I was on a radio show with a 16-year-old boy that is trading stock on the stock exchange because his dad came in his room because the son asked the father for money to put on his Fortnite account. And the daddy told him, no, but I will give you money to invest. And the 16-year-old said, but Dad, I don't know how. He said, just as you learn how to play Fortnite, go to YouTube and look up investment. This 16-year-old boy, last month made $3,000 trading stock. But he's doing it all from his phone. So all that I'm saying is that you got the tool. The game is going to be harder because they got a head start. Not only do they get not equal pay, they have a head start. But I will tell you this, with this tool in your hand, society has told us all we can do is take videos, watch people fight, we can listen to music, but there's so much more that you can do. You can unlock the world with this cell phone. And this is the last thing that I want to give you. The reason why many of us are missing the open door to work in trades is because somebody told us that making an honest pay is not glorious. You don't see the trash man taking a selfie and posting it on Instagram. You don't see the man that's on top of a roof going live. But these brothers are making real money. Welders are making six figures. Everybody may not be cut out to go to St. Thomas or go to Rice. Everybody don't have a mama that can pay $1 million and get you to USC or Yale. No shade. But you can do something with your hand right now. And I will say this. Those young boys that's on the corner, I call them street pharmacists. Man, to be able to take that soft and turn it into hard, that's a chemical equation. You put too much of something, you're going to blow up a house. So to be able to do that, you can take that same energy and finally come up with the cure for AIDS. Stop pumping all of this gas in our bodies when we get cancer. What society has told you, remember I told you, they've only given us 2 boxes to check, trap or go to the league. But there's so much more for you. Right. And you have access to it right now. Right. But if you don't do it, it's because you didn't want it. This is the last thing I said. I'm a Baptist preacher, man. So, you know, Baptist preacher closed at least about 3 times. I think this is the last one, and I'm done. Contrary to popular belief, nobody has any responsibility for you. No white man has responsibility to give you a job because he has a white nephew that he needs to hire. No Asian man has a responsibility to give you a job because he has an Asian niece that he needs to do nails. African American entrepreneurs are the highest employers of African American employees. It's not about you just getting a job so you can wake up when you want to and make your own schedule. It's so you can have an idea that you can employ somebody else. So we're not just asking you all to become an entrepreneur for yourselves. That's selfish. You have a responsibility to your village. You have a responsibility to your neighborhood. That's one thing. Before there was community, there was a neighborhood. It was a hood full of neighbors. that if I had a shortage of flour, I could go next door. If I had a shortage of sugar, I could go across the street. And if it comes to a point where they say that our median income is zero, we won't die, because the neighborhood will come back together and truly be our brother's keeper.
Man, did y'all hear what he said? He said something that stuck with me. He said that a lot of us don't want to be welders. We don't want to be tradesmen and do things with our hands because it don't look pretty. It doesn't look pretty. Let me tell you something. Half the stuff that they making look pretty to you is fake. It's fake. Just like I told you when we talked about consistency. It's not about getting it fast. It's about getting it long term and getting it for real. So just like I told you, don't fall for something if somebody asks you or offer you something that's fast. Don't fall for it. Go for the long term. Don't bet your money on the rabbit. Bet your money on who? The turtle. Because the turtle lives longer than the rabbit. It's a better investment. Well, the same goes for these occupations that look pretty. Don't go for what everybody else is doing. That lane is already crowded. Find you something unique to do, and then you corner the market. I asked some youngsters in Miami this question. How many of you want to sell flowers for a living? Now one hand went up in the room. The little man raised his hand back there. We got somebody with some sense in here, boy. Give him a round of applause. Now, what if I told you that the flower industry was a $60 billion industry? Would that change some of your minds? Now your hand's going up. That's what we need you to do. We need for you to go and look for those things that ain't nobody else doing. Because a lot of people making a lot of money doing things that are not Instagram friendly. You got it? All right, we're going to go to Brother Slim, then we're going to go back to Will, then we're going to close out with Brother Dr. Abdul Haleem Muhammad, if that's all right with everybody.
Would you like your commercial aired right here? We'd love to feature you on our platform. Don't have a commercial for your business or brand? No worries. Let Broadcast Houston create your personalized commercial from scratch. Other services include BH100 Media Run, Unplugged Product or Service Review, Next Up Cypher, Bars and Baddies, and Unplugged Music Review. Visit broadcasthouston.com/services for detailed information about each of these services. Broadcast Houston is also your one-stop content creator shop specializing in lyric videos, animation, product photography, red carpet event coverage, music videos, and much more. Email us today at broadcasthouston@gmail.com.
Entrepreneurship, I agree with what he said from 713 that we have to start deprogramming ourselves, re-educating ourselves to make it more simple and plain to you. If I was the heavyweight champion of the world and you came to me and asked me to train you to beat me, I would be a damn fool to do that. That's the way it is, continuing to put our kids in our oppressors' classroom, asking them to give them something that's going to take them off of the throne. They're not going to do it like Willie D said. They'd be a damn fool to do it. It's like fighting with this incarceration deal that we're trying to tackle right now. They have built a $1 billion industry. Why would they want to take that apart? It's on you to keep your kids out of prison. That's right. It's on you to give them the tools that they need to stay out of prison. That's right. And it's on us to make sure that we educate our kids. I'm at war right now. I have a son. He's very young. And I'm at war with his family because I want to put him in MUI. And that's the Nation of Islam school, right? And his grandmother is like, he ain't going to be no Muslim. Okay, well, what do you want to send him to? I'm going to send him to the Catholic school. But damn it, he ain't no Catholic. But you willing to put him in the white man's hands where they being accused of all kinds of sexual things before you put him into a school that's going to treat him about himself and where he comes from? That's what we have to get over. We have to get over that. We have to make sure that we put our kids in the best programs that we can and educate them ourselves outside of what they're getting in the public food system. We have to make sure that we do that. So we have to make sure that we give them what they need to be competitors out there, not be trained to be slaves like we've been doing for the past 50, 60 years, go and beg for a job. I'm a lawyer. I got a doctorate degree in lawyer, and I got to go be somebody else at somebody else's farm and be a lawyer on his farm. No, I want my own. I always wanted my own. Wherever Stop the Killing is mine. And I created that. So be proud of what you create. Our biggest problem right now is just we ain't trying to create nothing. We got to get back to start trying to create things. When he said about the Asians, that's one of the things that I have been studying. And if you really take a look at the Asians, you look at them, let me tell you this. We don't see the Asians running, hey, I'm finna run for city council, I'm finna run for the school board. They ain't running for nothing. Well, why? They got their own school system. They got their own banking system. They got everything in their little community where they at. They control their community. And they ain't worried about no police. Why? Because they protecting their community. We got to get on that type of level. That's the bottom line to it.
So I just wanted, to expound on what Brother Jamel Johnson said when he talked about his son giving his, was that your son speaking of? No, it was the guy. The guy at the radio station talking about his son giving his son some money for, what was that name of the game? Fortnite, yeah. So this is what we getting. We all talking about the same thing, being producers instead of consumers. We have to get to becoming producers. We got to get used to being producers. Like right now, many of us, we still, when we think of money, we think of what we can buy with money. As soon as we think of money, we think buying, what we buy. Like some of us, man, we act like we got a hole in our pocket. Like as soon as that money come in, shoot, money gone. Just that fast. Money gone. We just can't wait to spend that money. Spend that money. Like, we got to spend that money, man. Like, and that's a huge problem. My son, my 19-year-old son came to me last year, and he asked me for $2,000 to buy a jacket. And I said, man, I can't see buying, a jacket for $2,000, man. And I said, now what I can do. And this is what happened. His mom sent him to me, talking about, well, he wants, he's a good kid. And that, man, $2,000 is $2,000. Now, I don't feel like buying a $2,000 jacket for myself. So I'm like, look, what I will do is I'll give you $2,000 for some cryptocurrency. And you can invest that money, and after you make $2,000, then you can go buy your own jacket, and you'll still have $2,000 left to reinvest for the next thing that you want. That way you don't have to keep coming back and forth to me, asking me. You can do it for yourself. So what Brother Jamel was talking about was assets versus liabilities. We take on too many assets. We take on too many liabilities and not enough assets. So that's what I'm getting my son used to, training him how to respect money. And it's an old saying, a fool and his money will always part. So even if you go out there and make a whole bunch of money, some of you got 6-figure jobs in here, and you ain't got no money in the bank because you don't budget your money well, and you spend, and you're taking on too many liabilities and not enough assets. So the way I'm trained, every piece of paper that I get that come in, I be like, man, how can I make this money make me some money? That's how I think. I think like that automatically. Yeah, I spoil myself every now and then, but it's within reason. I make my money make me money. So when my money come in, I'm patient, and I say this money is going, if I want something nice, my money buys that nice vehicle or that house or whatever. I ain't buying it. I made money to make that money make me some money to buy that, whatever it is that I want. So we got to get used to being producers and not consumers.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question, and I need one of the youngsters in the audience to answer this. What's the difference between a producer and a consumer? Who can answer that question? Come up here, young man. You see how fast his hand went up? That's a sign of confidence. That's a great sign. Give him a round of applause. The difference between the producer and the consumer, because y'all got to get that, man. Y'all got to get that. If you don't leave here with nothing else, you got to get what Willie D just said. Become a producer, not a consumer. Go ahead.
Different for a consumer is, let's say you're about to get a paycheck and you're just consuming the money. Maybe you can just save the money, but a producer, if I'm thinking correctly, would save the money and like invest that money to make more money. Man, give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause. Producer versus consumer. If you listen to rap music, you're doing what? Consuming. The person who made the music is called, matter of fact, the person who owns the music is really the one that's the what? Who's in the position of power? The producer, who's ever producing. Because all you doing is just what? Consume. If you go to the Louis Vuitton store and you pay $5,000 for, they probably got a backpack that costs that. Who's the consumer? Who's the producer? Who's in the position of power? Because all he got to do is make another backpack and you're going to come in and spend more of your money. Now, mind you, you're walking out of the store and you don't have no money in the backpack that you just bought. Right. So, the job is for you to be a leader, not a follower. I'm going to give you an example. Anybody heard of this rapper named, I ain't going to even say his name. I'm not going to say his name. But there's a rapper, a particular rapper, he's out of Atlanta, and I'm good friends with his dentist. So I saw this artist at the dentist's office when I was there visiting my friend. And he was in pain because he just got these, grills in his mouth. Now, the dentist is not black. He's Middle Eastern. He's Muslim, but he's not one of us. He's not black. Good dude, but not black. So I was talking to him in a private conversation, Will, and he said, man, oh my God. He was talking about the rapper. He said, man, that guy, man, that dude's crazy. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I thought he was about to say that the dude did something unruly, savage, and uncivilized. It's like, no, he got like $60,000 worth of veneers from some lady in Atlanta. Then he came here to get them all taken out for me to put, some gold teeth in his mouth. Then he'll probably wear those for a year and spend another $60,000. So he's basically saying that this guy's crazy with the way he's blowing through his money. Now, the dentist is not calling him crazy when he's spending the money with him. And you can't be mad at it, It's business. Business is business. But the point that I'm making is that rapper is not going to understand the value of money until he's no longer popular and it's all gone. So in that particular situation, who's the consumer? All right. Who is the producer? Who do you have the most admiration for? Stop right there. I want you to think about it.
I know.
I want you to think about it. That's the point that I'm making. Stop letting people make stuff look pretty to you. The reason you're a consumer is because you admire consumers.
Use your own brain, use your own mind, and whatever it is that you like to do, learn how to become a producer with that. I wasn't even supposed to say all that.
I just wanted to make one quick point. We read these papers and studies about that it would take 200 years for us to close the wealth gap between black and white. 223 years to be exact. But I'm going to tell you something now that I think will shave about 50 years off of that. If most of our majors as a people when we go to college is in psychology, education, and sociology. If another one of our young people come and tell me with the greatest sense of pride and the biggest smile on their face that they're majoring in sociology, I don't know what I'm going to do, right? Those majors, I can give you 10 books to read on psychology where you don't have to go and get $50,000, $60,000 in student loan debt to major and come out and can't even get a job in that. The majors, there are only about 10 majors where you actually need to go to college. Most everything else, so when white people get somewhere, they've already chewed it up and gone. They're not even focusing on college anymore. You have programs like Y Combinator. People are paying $60,000 for you not to go to college. Dropbox. Who heard of Dropbox? Who heard of PayPal? The founders went through a 6-month Y Combinator tech program. And then when you come out, these people are, this is just how magnificent programs are like this. And so if we keep going and majoring in the easy majors, because we don't want to put up with the tediousness of becoming an engineer, finance, economics, medicine, or whatever, if you're not built for that, then go somewhere else. You can make a whole lot more money by not even wasting the time and the finances in that.
I just gotta add, we gotta unlearn.
Yes, sir.
Because we were taught to go to college. Our parents would tell us that a tech app creator doesn't make real money. Because my mother told me that a person who sells rims was not a real job. So we need to unlearn a lot of the things that we've been taught in the past because we're living in an ever-changing society. Things change, so we have to change our outlook. Will was just telling us about the money. I can use myself for example. Like I said earlier, I've been a young man that blew through tons of money because I didn't know the real value of the money. I didn't know the worth. I didn't know the things that I can do with the money because I'm first generation money in my family. Nobody in my family could teach me what to do with the amount of money that I had. So I had to lose the money first, make the money back, and surround myself with people that's sitting up here on the panel for them to show me the right way. I'm being blessed to start early, 36 years old, 17 years in business, and just now being able to restructure and do things the right way. Making less money now than I was making in the past because I was the guy who would buy that $2,000 jacket. So my point is we gotta unlearn all of these things that society has previously taught us. We have to be open-minded to the new concepts, the new apps, the new trades, not the college, not being in debt with student loans, not being able to get a job, not having our oppressor hire us. All of that stuff is old. We gotta get rid of that thought process because that stuff don't exist to us anymore.
That's real talk. And this is very important for we as parents to hear. When your child graduates from high school and they come to you and you ask them where you're going to college, and they say, I'm not going to college. Don't try and force them, because there are so many other options out there for them. Now, if your child wants to be a lawyer like mine, then they have to go to college. You get a 4-year degree, then go to law school. So it makes sense. What we're saying is do what makes sense and do what makes you money. Now, you may ask yourself the question, we having a whole panel discussion and all we talking about is entrepreneurship, working for yourself, being your own boss. Why are we not talking about how to keep these children out of jail? Let me tell you something. If we teach you how to work for yourself, become your own boss, and make your own money, staying out of jail will take care of itself. So it's very important what it is that we're saying.
This is one thing that I want to do. Parents, can you do something for me? I want you to go to www.godaddy.com. Every parent, go to www.godaddy.com. There is a bar at the top that asks you to look for a domain name. This bar, once you put in the information, will let you know if that .com, .net, .org, .us, .tv is available. I want you to put your child's name in there. Buy your child's name. I have 2 boys. I have everything out there with their name. .net, .com, .org. Why am I telling you that? A couple of years ago, at the Golden Globe Award show, Oprah Winfrey gave a resounding speech. The next day, everybody said, Oprah Winfrey 2020. Somebody caught hold of that, went to GoDaddy and bought www.oprahwinfrey2020.com. They tried to. They tried to sell it to her for $500,000. If she decided to run, she would have had to buy it. Because legally, it belonged to them. The reason why I'm asking you to do this is because we just left out of their room and all of your children said that they are great. Greatness is attached to them. Their greatness may be made aware next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. The last thing that you want them to do is have to pay somebody and that person has ownership of them and they have to ask for permission to be themselves.
There it is. And before we wrap up with prayer, we want to hear from our big brother, Brother Abdul, Haleem, Muhammad.
Greetings, Assalamu alaikum. Let's give all of our panelists a round of applause. Come on, man. Give it up. And please give it up for Brother Deric. Give it up for Brother Deric. Come on, man. Come on. I always close pretty much saying the same thing every year before we pray. I want you to put your heads up, pay attention. Everybody stand up. Come on, get your blood circulating there. Stand up. Stand up. Reach for the ceiling. Reach for the ceiling. Reach up. Now reach down for the ground. Reach down for the ground. All right. Sit back down, please. What I'm looking at is our future. You're the greatest generation we ever produced. All of the haters, they can say whatever they want to say about you, but you're the greatest generation we ever produced. And in truth, you're our last chance. And as Brother Will said, they hate us and they know you are our last chance. So they do everything they can to mislead you. As Brother Ash said, we have to unlearn. You know, I never tried to tell you that when I was your age, because I was never your age. I'm 62 years old, but I was never your age. If you're 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, 9 years old, whatever, you see things that we never saw coming up. You face dangers that we never faced coming up. At least I know that if I had a squabble or if we got in something, so we would fight. We throw hands. You black my eye, I bloody your lip. But at the end of it all, we may fight the next day. But you go to the wrong party, you pick your nose, look like a gang sign, you wear the wrong color, you go in the wrong neighborhood, you go to the wrong school, y'all don't even fight no more. How do you get access to all these automatic weapons? If we're not entrepreneurs and we don't have a factory to produce so much as a toothpick, how are you getting AK-47? All right. We want to be entrepreneurs. You're born entrepreneurs. And your hand ain't been made to punch no clock. That ain't even your thing. But what product are they dropping in your distribution system? They're not sneakers. We could go to China. This is a global market. Been to China. $2,000 jacket that Will is talking about. $5,000 backpack that Brother Derek's talking about. Man, may it cost them sneakers that you stand in line for and pitch a tent for, cost $8 to make. $8. Right. That jacket might have cost $20 to make. Listen to me why. When you go to a city called Guangzhou, what's the name of it? Guangzhou. Say it again. Guangzhou. It's a distribution center. You go there and you can find Gucci and Pucci and anything you want to find, you find in a warehouse. First floor is knockoffs. No, on the street, they selling knockoffs. First floor is something similar. Second floor, it's a little better quality. Third floor, you go up there, they serve you tea, coffee, and wine, and they don't even ask you because everybody that's on the third floor is ordering at least 10,000 units or more. And they'll put a label on anything that you want. The Chinese will give you anything you want. They don't care who they're doing business with. And if you go and do a label check, look at all your labels, you rarely find anything made in America anymore. So what we're trying to tell you is each one of us on this panel is a candle. And why I'm trying to get you to stay awake is because every candle that's up here, as it gives off light, is being consumed. The time we're spending with you, we can't get back. I can lose money, I can make it, I can lose it, I can make it again. But this time that we spent, we're never going to get it back. We may walk out of here tomorrow, and you may read about me on the news. You may read about one of us on the news. Oh man, them cats was on the panel then. We're giving off light. And a candle that's giving off light is being consumed. But if this light that is us, our experience, touches you, then what we are will never die because it's going to live through you. Now, I'm going to take just a little different angle on the education piece, just a little different. I agree with them because we cannot have these worthless degrees that we got. They're worthless. Not the education worthless, but you got to get an education that makes you want to do something for self, not to work for somebody else. My three of my 4 sons are engineers. They had to go to college. But engineering is the basis of nation building. Now, I have trademarked, and I got people writing me right now, Brother Deric. The trademark is Silicon Bayou, Houston, Texas. How many of you have heard of Silicon Valley in California? You heard of that, right? That's where all your Google, all of them is out in Silicon Valley, right? Do you know that in Austin, they've got a tech center there, it's called Silicon Hills. How many of you know that right there where the old Sears is on Main Street, they're building right now a technology center and they're making that the innovation corridor. But if this Houston, Texas is the Bayou City, I trademarked Silicon Bayou, Houston, Texas. This is my trademark. And with you all's help, we're going to cash in on that bad boy. So anybody that uses Silicon Valley is going to pay us. Hear what I'm saying? I didn't say I, me, and mine. I'm saying us, our, and we. Why? Because we're always on the plantation of information. Most of us know how to use this phone, but we don't know how it's made. iPhones in China, man, they make them for $20, $30, man. They sell it for all this money. Trust and believe that. So look, we talked about the traditional trades. Learn how to paint, learn how to weld, learn how to do body work. Do that so he can hire a brother. Come on time, put in your 8 hours or 9 or 10 hours worth of work, give him his value, he'll give you what you need. Learn how to weld. Learn how to fix things. Learn how to build things. Do that. All right? And then learn about, don't let anybody clown you about you watching, only thing you watch is sports or this, that, and the other when the news come on. If this young girl that is called AOC, they got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's like this rising star. She's talking about this new Green Deal. Well, don't let people poo-poo you about that, man. Did you just see that plant that just caught fire over there, ITC plant? How many of you saw that on the news? You know what we've been breathing lately? You know what's in the water? So we're going to have to learn about the green economy. You can't have some pointy-headed somebody from Rice University come on you telling you what you need to know about environmentalism. Brother Khalid Rashid and I, with Muslims and others, that's our religious tradition. Our religious tradition teaches us we have to wash up with water before we pray. And then our book tells us that if we can't find water, betake yourself in pure earth. So that means we have to be environmentalists. Our water has to be clean. The dirt has to be clean if we're to prepare ourselves for our prayer to go before our Creator. So we can't afford not to be environmentalists. And God said to man, let us make man, and gave him dominion and rule over the earth. So even as Christian believers, we have to be stewards of the earth that God gave us to be over. So you can't let people cut you out of the Green Deal, man. Every door that's closed, you kick it in. You're the best generation, the most fearless generation we ever produced. But the enemy is using jujitsu on you and making you turn against each other, kill one another. They know you're the fearless generation. They know that you're not afraid to die, you ain't afraid to kill, and going to jail ain't even a badge of dishonor anymore. So I have a PhD, called me doctor. I earned my PhD, but I'm an urban planner. I want to build a world, and I need you to build it. So if I'm going to build a $20 million project on Old Spanish Trail, I want you to be the ones that's going to build it. Right. Why should every time we drive down the road, we look at the road crew, it don't even look like us and we need work. That's crazy. $1 billion airport. $1 billion rail system that I helped do consulting work for Metro, running up and down here. This line, the purple line, was $250 million. The whole rail system was $1 billion. I saw it from the Metro Solutions referendum all the way through the ribbon cutting I rode on the first train. I've seen them do this thing. With that, and now TxDOT is going to drop the freeways that they used to cut up 5th Ward and 4th Ward and 3rd Ward, all the highways that they cut through here. They're getting ready to drop them now. Instead of being elevated, they're going to drop them below ground and put caps over the street and put parks on top of that. So they're going to build inside of the city of Houston, they're going to build $3 billion worth of investment. My question to us as entrepreneurs, and as we work together quietly, we're not going to do this in the public. We're going to sit down and talk about this. How come, Khalees, there's not one black Herman Russell in this city? Meaning one that can go prime contract, that can go up. We're begging for kibbles and bits. Let me tell you something about a dining room and living room conversation that goes on in white people's houses. Bedroom, because that's his wife. Living room, because that's his daughter. Kitchen table, because that's his sister. That's who he's putting in business, and they're just a front. They own 51% of the business. The man still is backing them because he can send them to the bank and get all of that. So that money stays in their family. It takes 3 generations to build wealth. Khalees will tell you that to really build that kind of wealth. So when you make your money, and you become the big star, and then you're going to go make a $100 million contract, and then I see Susie on your arm. When your mama, your single parent mama raised you, went to AAU with you, put you through, you were out there, she was out there in the corner begging with a football helmet on the corner to get you some money, and then you go and marry Susie? Who are you going to leave your money to? So you wonder why our hood looks like the hood. So lastly, I want to close by simply saying, don't be left behind on the plantation of information. We talked about artificial intelligence, robotics, coding, all of that. Right now, they can tell you the brand new cars really are computers with wheels. Those airplanes that you heard crashing, all they are is computers. And it's a software glitch that's causing them to crash. So you have to now, as we build Silicon Bayou, Houston, Texas, you've got to be the ones that come in and learn how to code. You're going to have to learn robotics. So next year, inshallah, Brother Deric, I want to try to contribute a workshop on robotics and whatnot, and decoding and whatnot, so we can show them. We don't have to wait till the next workshop. We'll do whatever you tell me to do, brother, because he's the boss. And do this so that we can show you all the possibilities of what is for you. And I don't blame our grandparents and all of them. They were worked to death and denied. They came back from the World War II fighting for democracy all over the world. They came back here, had a master's degree, a PhD, and all they could do was work at the post office. So I couldn't blame them. And they didn't want to work in the fields. They said, baby, get a good job so you don't have to do what Pop did, shining shoes and cleaning toilets to do that. But you know something? They meant well. But they didn't see the deindustrialization of America. They didn't see the factories moving overseas. You can't work for somebody 30 years and get a retirement and a golden watch. In fact, there may not be Social Security for you or us, really. So you better get out here and do something for yourself, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has taught us. Last point I'll make is this. The reason why I take a different approach at education is because I had somebody to stick a needle in my head when I was in high school. Got your attention then, right? I went to my college guidance counselor, who never gave me no guidance. And I went to him my senior year of school. And I gave him my papers for college. And I said, Mr. Laney, I need you to help me fill out these papers because I'm going to college. She said, oh, Bob. My name was Robert. Oh, Bob. She looked at me real sincere. Oh, Bob, you're not really college material. Go down to room A1 and see the Marine recruiter. Well, that was the time of Vietnam. She was sending me off to die. But she said, and I told her, I said, no, Mr. Laney, in my family, because I was the first male in my family to go to college. No, in my family, my mama told me it wasn't a matter of whether I was going to college or not. It was only a matter of where I'm going to college. I said, you want to fill out these papers. You don't want Doris McMillan to come up here. She filled out the papers, and the day that I graduated high school, I got accepted to Hampton Institute at that time. It's Hampton University now. I went through there in 4 years. I wasn't college material. I went through there in 4 years. I went on later on in life to get my master's and my PhD. Don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. That's my point. That's my point. So get an education to do for self, but get some common sense too. And that's what we're trying to do here. So I want to, again, as a candle that's giving off light, I want to thank God for Brother Deric.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank God for Brother Deric. See, in the jungle, the old lions killed the young lions because they were the only ones who wanted to be over the pride or over the group. But in our world, we can't be the old lions, can't kill the young lions. We have to train the young lions not to be pussycats, but to be real lions. Brother Deric is a lion because he learned from a lion, because I learned from a lion, and all of us are lions up in here. So what we're trying to tell you young lions is that, man, stake your ground out. Live and fulfill your dream. Every one of you is an individual miracle created by God. There's nobody else like you. Never been nobody like you before. There'll be nobody else like you. Eternity is a long time, man. There was eternity before you were born, and there's going to be eternity after you die. You only get this short thing called this dash of life. You know how on your funeral programs it say sunrise and sunset? It's a short dash. Eternity before, eternity after. Make your mark now. And don't let anybody steal your dream or your vision of who you can be. Without a vision, the people perish. But a vision without good people will perish. But worse than that, a vision without a plan is simply an hallucination. So stop dreaming, y'all. Let's get up and let's go to work and let's do something for ourselves and build a community.
Come on, y'all can do better than that. Well, family, I think we had school today. Anybody learn anything today? I sure did. So, brothers and sisters, thank you so much for being here. This concludes today's Smarten Up Black Male Summit. We hope and pray that everyone who attended leaves more empowered, more informed, and just better than when they came. Whatever it is that you learned today, because a lot got thrown at you, but something stuck. Whatever it is that stuck with you, it stuck with you for a reason. It didn't stick with you because myself or any of these other gentlemen are so smart. It stuck with you because there's something that God has put inside of you that was calling out for that anyway.
Come on.
So do not ignore the voice of God. If something moved you today, it wasn't us, it was your Creator. Don't ignore that voice. And when I say don't ignore that voice, basically what I'm telling you is, whatever you learned today that you know was true and good for you, go out there and do something with it. And when you go and you do something with what you've learned, then you've made all this worth it for everybody who participated and organized. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now listen, don't leave yet because we started in prayer and we have to end in prayer. So we want everybody to get up and come toward the stage and kind of make a circle around me. If we can get you brothers to kind of stand right here. Come on in close. Come on in close. Come in close. Come in close. If we have to push the chairs back, we'll do so. Come in close. Come in close. Come in close. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Come in close. Somebody in here got a $2,000 jacket on. All right, you've been wonderful today. And the way you've conducted yourself today, the greatness you've displayed today is just a sign of who it is that you really are. Go forth from this place and rise to your full potential. Basically, what we're saying in here today is that every last one of us have more options than we think. You know what an option is in the world of football? That's when they design a play for the quarterback to drop back, and he got 3-4 different things he could do. 3-4 different ways he could go. And then he just chooses the best one for him. You make mistakes in life when you allow somebody to convince you that you don't have options. All out of options, I'm going to rob this bank. All out of options, I'm going to pull this kick door. All out of options, I'm going to sell this dope. All out of options, I'm going to hit this old lady across her head and take her purse. Let me tell you something. It don't never get that bad. And you always have more options than you think. We love y'all. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to put my hand right here. And I need everybody to put their hand on my hand as best you can. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Hold your weight. Hold your weight. I don't weigh but $160. Then knock me down. Hold your weight. All right, bow your head. Almighty God, Creator, Maker, Judge of all things, Revealer of all truths, we thank you for a day of empowerment, specifically and uniquely designed for black males. For out of all the things and all of the obstacles that we face in this world, we know after hearing the voices of truth today that not only do we have options, but that we have a bright future. There's some young man in this room today that temptation is upon him. He's being tempted to do something that he knows is not right. Today, our Master, dear Father, we ask that you give him the spirit of righteousness and to let him know he has options. He has a support system. We ask that you guide each and every last one of us on the right path and make us be not of the losers. Make us to be of the winners and make us to be of the great ones. And when we rise to our full potential, dear Father, we will be careful to give you all the praise and all the glory.
Amen. Amen. On the count of three. Smarten up on the count of three. Smarten up on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Smarten up! Peace and blessings, family. Enjoy yourself.
Would you like your commercial aired right here? We'd love to feature you on our platform. Don't have a commercial for your business or brand? No worries. Let Broadcast Houston create your personalized commercial from scratch. Other services include BH100 Media Run, Unplugged Product or Service Review, Next Up Cypher, Bars and Baddies, and Unplugged Music Review. Visit broadcasthouston.com/services for detailed information about each of these services. Broadcast Houston is also your one-stop content creator shop specializing in lyric videos, animation, product photography, red carpet event coverage, music videos, and much more. Email us today at broadcasthouston@gmail.com.